Hi everyone, got something fun to show you. Remember that my idea of fun is vastly different from most people's, but that's okay. Hopefully you'll think it's fun too. I've had lots of requests for more explanation on doing this, and um, and I think it's really valuable. So the idea is you have some kind of Google form that's collecting a bunch of data, but you don't want your teachers to also have to enter in student demographic data. So let's say you want to know more about the student, you want to be able to look at the data in different ways, and maybe you want to narrow it down by ethnicity or by whether or not the student has an IEP. All of that stuff is possible without actually having to ask your teacher to enter that data into the Google form. Please don't make them enter that data. You can find it elsewhere, right? We all have SISs. So here we go. This is data that I pulled from my communication meeting tracker. So many of you have seen that before. Basically, and this one does ask for a grade level, and that's just because it narrows down the number of students that they have to choose from. You can enter a contact or meeting log, da, 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 and then it all goes to this pretty dashboard, okay? Now let's say you wanted to narrow it down by, instead of just grade level, also by whether or not the student is male or female, or possibly IEP. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay, so I have all the form responses. I usually also create a formulas page so that way I can kind of pull everything over and work with it. I do a lot with Google Forms, like getting it ready for Data Studio. So I put a lot of different formulas in, and I typically end up with, this is not very much, but like 10 times. It gets a little crazy sometimes. But I usually, like I said, put them on a separate tab. I just use what it's called kind of like an array formula. It's an array because you have these brackets on either side. Okay, so it's just pulling all the data from columns A to B from form responses 1. That's all I did there. Okay, and then at the very end, so starting at column W, I started putting my formulas. You don't have to worry about any of this. What I want to do is take this list of student names and I want to fill in this column with what their gender is. Okay, so I'm going to go slow and then I'm going to do it one more time before I let you go. I'm going to put equals. That's how you start any kind of function or formula in Google Sheets or Excel. And we are going to do array formula. All right, again, this is something that brings it all the way down. It's just a different way of putting those fancy little brackets. And we are going to do VLOOKUP. Okay, and Google Sheets is nice because it brings up all these little helper boxes. So just in case you forget, search key. Search key is what we're looking for. Remember, we're going to be pulling this information from student info. I don't think I said that. Student info has all the students' info on it. Okay, so that's where we're going to pull it from. That would be like your download straight from your SIS. Okay, so AB2, that's this cell right here. But since we're doing an array, we want to actually get all the cells after that. So I'm going to put column AB. You don't need to know everything about these formulas, just match exactly what I do, okay? So AB2, that's the first student's name, colon, whatever your column is, okay? Now we put a comma, and we're going to look at the range where we're searching what the student's gender is. So now you get to see that this is a student info. So what I'm going to do is select all 4 of these columns, okay? You want to make sure that those student names are in the first column that you select. Okay, so if your student names are in column E, then select E first. Make sure that your gender, grade, whatever else you're taking is on, nope, this is right, on, it's mirrored, this is weird, on this side of your names, okay, on the right side. I could have just said the right side, whatever. Okay, so I selected all those, comma. Next, you're going to put what column you're pulling from. We want a gender. This is in the second column. Ready? 1, 2. I'll put 2 there. And then you're going to put false. You don't need to know why, but basically it just means that's not in alphabetical order. And then I'm going to hit enter. Yay! It filled in some information for us. You also get these errors down here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put a little if in A right before it, all you have to do. Okay, you can do that from the beginning if you wanted to, but I didn't want to overload you with 3 formulas at one time because this is called wrapping. It's a little intense sometimes. Okay, so I just added that in there now. So I'm going to hit enter. Just put if in A, and then if you can't see that, that's a parentheses. Enter. Beautiful, right? All right. Let's say we want to know whether or not these students have an IEP. Okay, so I put a second, or not really a second column, but another one of those VLOOKUP columns. I am just going to copy everything in there. You saw that I double clicked and then selected and copied. Do not copy the cell itself. It will mess with your formulas. There's a way to lock them. I'm not getting into that right now. I'm trying to keep this short. It's already way too long. I can't say the time, but way too long. All right, so I copied, Control C. You can also do it like this if you want to waste a whole bunch of clicks. I'm not into that, but you could be. All right, I'm going to click out of that, double click right here, and I am going to paste it. Control V. Okay. The only thing that I need to change in here is the number of the column that they pull the information from. We're still pulling the names from AB to AB, okay? We're still pulling these names. We're still looking at student info from A to D. The only thing that we need to change is what column we're pulling the information from. So just in case you forgot, let's pop over to the student info. IEPs, this is in column D. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay, something simple, right? So we're going to replace this 2 with a 4, and it's going to tell us that yes, Benny Bishop and Tim Lyons has an IEP. Benny Bishop, Tim Lyons. Look at that. It's magic. Takes a little bit of work. Don't freak out. Follow the video. Type what I type. It'll all be okay. It could go wrong. Could go horribly wrong. That's okay. You can email me. I can probably help you. Depends on the day, but I could probably help you. Okay. So yeah, you're taking the data from the Google form, the student data from your SIS, merging the two. Okay. One thing that I want to make clear, if you are using Google Forms to collect student data, you want checklists, not checklists, sorry. You want drop downs, do not put checklists. That'll get crazy. You want drop downs for your student information or for your student names, okay? You do not want people to type them in. Even with simple names, you have spelling errors, that would get in the way of all this. You have spacing errors, whether or not they're putting in first, last, or last comma first. It gets crazy. Okay, try to avoid that and use the drop downs. Drop down. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, I think that's all I have. I hope this helps. Have a good day. Have a good night, whatever it is. How do I get out of here? How do I stop this? Oh, here. I can 8 minutes and 27 seconds. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I hope it's valuable.